Well, thank you very much, Anne. And hopefully, even obviously, w7m losing yesterday, hoping it should be mentioned that ENX might be able to bounce back. They had their exact same first matchup as they had last stage, Ollie. They played FaZe on day one last stage, FaZe on day one this stage, and I am pretty sure it was literally the same result. It was a 7-2 both times. So hopefully for them as well, against another very strong opponent, ENX can maybe bounce back, but only one of these teams can come away with a win, and one of them is remaining 0-2 through the first weekend.
I think if you're ENX, you just get that game out of the way against FaZe, don't you? You just chalk it up and say, just okay, we'll jump into the server, we'll play the game, but let's just get it out of the way. Because as we've mentioned, I mean, FaZe, I'm already excited about the fixture that they've got coming up later on, and we're actually going to have to wait until our last game of the day. But let me tell you, we've been treated this week, Lynx, because not only did we have the El Clasico in NA, but we've also got the El Clasico of Brazil coming up later on today.
Like, I don't know what it is, but I keep hearing people call FaZe Liquid the El Clasico. Is FaZe Furia not the El Clasico?
No, is it heck?
What do you mean?
FaZe Furia?
Okay, well, it's literally the greatest match in Rainbow Six history. Let's just get that out of the way with right now.
Right,
but,
okay, so they played one best of 5 and it was a good game.
Okay. Calling it a good game is a little bit hyperbolic, or is a little bit underselling it. But FaZe Furia also rematch from last stage. Furia denies FaZe the opportunity to win Brazil 5 times in a row, and Liquid, who can't even they're just leaving the game because they want us to keep talking about this. Liquid, sometimes it's like, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Last stage they're bad, previous stage they're good, stage before that they're bad. Listen, I love Liquid, okay? I've been a Liquid fan since day one, since I've been watching this game for the first time for I don't know, 6 years ago when I was 9. But FaZe Furia is absolutely the El Clasico at this point.
You weren't 9 when it was 6 years ago. Let's just get that straight.
Yeah, I know. It was meant to, as a general statement, that I was young. I was not actually 9.
I was panicking from that. I was like, how old are you, really? Like,
I am 23 years old. I will turn 24 in 2 months and 12 days.
Well, congratulations.
Happy birthday. Not a happy birthday, not a happy inauguration for either of these teams, as we have to have a rehost in round 1. Everybody from ENX leaving the lobby because they heard Ollie describe FaZe Liquid as the El Clasico, and they revolted.
I mean, I'll literally argue the point with anybody. I don't think that you can. I don't think there's another way around it. And I'm excited for it, as I'm sure most people can tell.
I am
still
too. I'm excited.
Looking forward to the first game, and still looking forward to watching w7m's bounce back, watching ENX, and see what they can do. I think the desk was quite mixed in their opinions on the fixture and the map in general. Obviously, I'm not saying that Fox was sat there backing ENX based on the map choice, but there was definitely an air of there is an opportunity for a team that you're maybe better than on a map like Clubhouse. I think I stand firmly in Tim's camp of the ENX just don't play this map. I was trying to find a time when they've won this map, and I actually can't find it through the talent tool. So I don't know if they've ever won it in an official. The only game that I can find that they've ever played it was 62 days ago against Loss, and they lost.
Oh, was that a 7-1?
I don't know. It's a random game from 60 days ago. I can't just pull that up.
I'm sorry.
Also, criminal, by the way. I don't know who's made the graphic, but match of the day being NIP versus Furia. Like, in what world is that match of the day?
They know FaZe Liquid is not the El Clasico, that's why. It was a 7-1, by the way. It was a 7-1 for Los. Shout out my memory. I'm pretty sure, oh my god, there was an MVP performance of somebody that game. Who was it? It was on, it was Mr. Outlaw. That was a goated Mr. Outlaw game, I think. Tim's gonna fact check me right now. But I'm pretty sure it was like a Mr. Outlaw masterclass. Hold on, let me check. Oh my god, I was correct. I didn't even have it pulled
Tim's
up.
chiming in now saying FaZe Liquid is 100% the El Clasico.
Yeah, Tim is wrong.
No.
Like FaZe is the El Clasico in what, 2019? 2021? FaZe Liquid wasn't even the El Clasico at the 6th Invitational. When has it been the El Clasico?
But no, in this region though.
No,
like,
not in this.
Of all the regions and all the like derby games that we get, Because obviously, in traditional sports, a derby game is when two local teams face off against each other. We live in a bit of a different world. We live in esports. So the regional teams, you sort of it creates mini derbies, and it isn't due to proximity, it's just due to storyline.
Okay.
And Team Liquid and FaZe is the one that holds the most weight in terms of story. Anyway. Like, we've got plenty of time to get into this. We've got all night.
we'll get into it. With
and I can already feel that it's going to be a long one.
I'm pulling up Liquipedia pages to mount a counter argument later. So you better get ready.
You just be careful with that one monitor that you're rocking at the moment.
Hey, listen, that's mean, okay? It's not my fault. Not my fault. I had a stage at a friend's place. My bad. Anyway, w7m ENX. Well, like we've talked about, not exactly too worried about for w7m. Hopeful for ENX. I mean, obviously only making one roster change. Mitrix coming in from, well, technically Tier 2, but you might have last seen him on that Fluxo roster in 2024 of Stage 2, which was not the highest performer in the league, but... And also, Mitrix not even the highest performing player on that roster. That distinction goes to Hashi, who was by far and away the best performer on Fluxo a couple bits ago. To be honest with you, it is just a bit hard to talk about these two teams because it's just like we have one best of one, which isn't exactly a great sample size, and both these teams kind of got smoked. One of them by FaZe and one of them by Maya.
Yeah, it doesn't really lead. I mean, it doesn't really lead, lead for a lot of in-depth analysis based on just one play day, does it? Obviously, we can look back at what happened previously, what happened in Stage 1, as these two teams did, of course, play each other inside of Stage 1. Way back, trying to actually find the fixture here.
I can't pull that one off the top of my head, so sorry about that.
So... That one didn't happen. Oh, maybe it did happen like 60 odd days ago. I don't know. When was Stage 1?
I'm pretty sure the schedule is actually I'm pretty sure the schedule is the exact same as it was as last stage. So it would have been this play day in Stage 1.
Yeah. The desk spoke about it. Not even Labs 7-2 to w7m. So again, ENX finished 9th last stage.
We're really trying. We're really trying.
We're trying our best.
Really trying to yes and this matchup right now.
Yeah, I don't really know what you want us to say.
I mean, I've got a few things I could say about FaZe versus Liquid.
Go? No. We're saving that.
But like, here's the thing, right? We have to be careful because if we save it for FaZe Liquid, that is still, even if I disagree, it's the El Clasico. It is still definitely my match of the day. So I can't dedicate too much time that game to debating whether or not it's a good game. I can't dedicate FaZe Liquid. Like, I can't dedicate time to some meta-analysis of the matchup, which I'm sure everyone would enjoy hearing, and not me talking about the game. But anyway, what are the other matchups we have today? Okay, actually, Ollie, you know what we should do? We did kind of like clown them for it earlier, but let's be fair. Let's make an argument. NIP Fury at match of the day. Why is it the match of the day?
No, we need to get in the brain of the person that decided that this is the match of the day, don't we?
Could we get the exact name of who decided that? Could I get their LinkedIn and like do some investigating so I can understand their rationale? I mean, to be fair, Furia obviously currently reigning SAL champs, which probably come as a shock considering not because they're the champs, because FaZe aren't. Like I said, FaZe had won the championship inside the regional league 4 stages in a row. And I would be honest, I totally thought they were going to take it for the 5th time in a row. And then Furia not just won 2-0, demolished them in a best-of-3 at the end of last stage to become the champs. Whereas NIP, definitely on a little bit of an upward trajectory compared to where they were previously and making it into playoffs, I believe, outside of the top 2. But 3rd last stage. And then making it all the way into the 3rd place position, lower bracket final.
I think that's it, isn't it? They were sort of really brushing shoulders in that 4th, 3rd place spot.
Yeah, which is not where NIP in the past couple years has always been.
No, NIP is typically placed a little bit lower than that, and I guess you could argue that Furia is maybe typically placed a little bit higher than that. And I think the rise of NIP and the fall off is maybe a little bit too much of an exaggeration, but the slight decline that we've seen in Furia. And the fact that they're meeting now in that sort of mid part of the table, which, by the way, 3rd to 6th inside of SAL is
Could be
always
anybody.
highly contested.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. And the fact that you've now got Furia that have maybe slipped down into that's where they're going to sit. NIP are like looking toward the higher end maybe of that 3rd to 6th place.
Well,
it could be a big game, because if we get similar results to what we got inside of stage 1, you could argue that this turns into a 6-point fixture.
Well, and Furia have always, I mean, it always feels a bit weird to highlight one particular team in the group stage, just because, one, it's a group stage, two, as we said, SAL is particularly competitive, but Furia has never really topped their group stages. They've always had to struggle a little bit, even when they've been the best team in the world, still just sneaking in at like 6th or 5th. It's not uncommon for Furia to have a really, really close group stage, and the cliche, you always hear Demo talk about it, is how they power up for LAN events, they power up for the big moments, and they do very much show up and power up for the big moments. But you ultimately still have to win these games to qualify, and with NIP on the upswing, and also if we want to talk about their EWC performance, I mean, lost 2-1 to G2, but G2 looking like one of the best teams in the world right now, and they only lose map 3 in overtime on layer 8-6. Like, this is clearly an NIP that, like, isn't just like, okay, they're punching above their weight domestically. Like, very much could be the start of a very, very, very positive trend across the stage, especially with 7-3 victory over Black Dragons yesterday, who, we can get into that later, but Black Dragons has proven to be a little disappointing, unfortunately, over the past, or over the end of last stage and potentially the beginning of this one, depending on what happens. But coming out with a win yesterday, looking quite good doing it at a 7-3, having a very strong performance at EWC when we've really not seen a good international NIP performance in a while. I've been a huge NIP hater for years, and they are actually starting to turn me into a believer and into a fan.
I think the kind of that Marmite team, right? Some people like them, some people really don't, and I'm not entirely sure why it is.
The Marmite team?
Oh, come on. You can't... Listen,
No,
we're not in North America now.
I know what Marmite... I know what it is. I know what it is.
Things.
I know what it is. Okay, we're in international waters. I know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't... You got to be careful with these very, like, British analogies.
I'm not sure it's that British, really. I think...
Sorry,
I think there's a lot of
these British
Aussies
and
that get
Australian analogies. There it is.
Yeah?
There it is. There it is.
Well, the sort of the tagline is that you either love it or you hate it.
Is that their official tagline, or is that like just like a colloquialism?
It may have been at some point, but it's definitely more of a colloquialism. I think a lot of things people can palate, can't they? Like,
yeah,
it's like red sauce, for example, like ketchup. Like, I don't particularly
is that what you
like
call
it.
Ketchup? Red sauce?
It's red, isn't it?
Okay, but nobody calls ketchup red sauce. Are you making spaghetti? Are you making spaghetti and ketchup? Like, what are you talking about?
No, you have red sauce and you have brown sauce.
Oh, okay. Hold on. The iconic and most famous slogan for the yeast extract spread Marmite is "Love it or hate it."
So, like, it's one of those things that's quite polarizing. It isn't just palatable and you can kind of make do. You can kind of like get behind it, you know?
There's a lot of polarizing things, like Marmite. What's the El Clasico in Brazil? a lot of divided opinions on topics like this. And then we have Los 9Z. Not to change the subject away from Marmite, which I know everyone is very excited to hear. But Los 9Z is an interesting game to me, not because I'm like either of these teams are going to like win, but I was kind of a 9Z believer, Ollie. I don't know if you remember. I was maybe not quick to hype up 9Z, but I was definitely a little bit of a defender. Then I was disappointed they didn't end up going as far as I thought they would. But I think the team's a little slept on. Not as like a first, second place contender, but again, especially in a league as competitive as this, I think even though they were very much at the bottom of the standings, I think they could, if they've made some improvements, they could slip in at the 5th, 6th spot based on their performance last stage. I don't know if
it was always quite sort of. I always enjoyed the Copa Elite 6 days because when we had the sort of the teams from Argentina and other regions aside from back when it was just Brazil join in, you could always see there was quite a large gulf in terms of where those teams were at. And I think that 9Z now being in the league permanently, it's going to be better for them, isn't it? Because they are going to be given that opportunity to grow. And like you say, could turn into be a little bit of a sleeper team because, let's be honest, the bottom end of the table in in SAL. For as much as we speak about, you know, the top sort of maybe 1st to 7th place, bottom 8, 9, and 10 is kind of up there for the taking.
I mean, and especially like if you just want to go back to last stage, looking at the point allocation, I mean, Loud and Black Dragons were literally tied in 6th and 7th at 13 points. Like who made playoffs or not at the bottom end of the table was decided by a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
You had 7 teams that all were playoff capable, and then even Los and ENX at 10. That's 1 regulation win behind 1 Loud, who didn't make playoffs, but 2 Black Dragons, who did. Like, it's not just like quality of play that this league can be very close in the best of ones. Like, don't get me wrong, I think eye test wise, I think we can all agree that probably Los, ENX, and even 9Z, definitely a bit of a, in the aggregate, last stage, below the other 6 to 7. But they're still able to win these games. Everyone still is very much a contender, whereas, you know, honestly, in NA, it sometimes feels like kind of the bottom 4 teams. It's like, okay, we have this matchup, they're probably going to lose. And unfortunately, last stage, more often than not, that was the case. Whereas here, it is a little bit more coin flippy and might be a bit of a pain to follow strategically sometimes. And if you're really caring about your prediction score, but it sure makes for damn good Siege and, well, entertaining Siege at least. We are finally back in the game, though. And we have extremely standard bans for Clubhouse, double hard breach denial ban, Monty Hibana. There's like 8,000 hatches when you're attacking the basement. And also, Monty's very good for taking rafters. Makes sense why we find ourselves in this permutation.
Yeah, ENX trying to give themselves a little bit of an easier time of getting these breaches open, and it can mean that they can choose slightly different operators to get those jobs done. For example, attacking here upstairs into CCTV room and cache, they've only opted to bring an ace and a tin opener, given that that's one of the hard breaches that is available, but the tin opener being the more important thing, they're not opting for the thermite, which does usually speak to quite a front-sided approach. Typically, you'll bring the therm if you're going to go through construction. So I am a little bit surprised that they haven't opted for that, given that Monty is banned, because it means that taking garage control is going to be a little bit more difficult, and they're kind of relying a lot on the Capital to do that. And with his army open, going to have to try and deal with that catwalk player, and it is not going to be straightforward. So I do worry a little bit just about the fundamentals of this approach, and I think that if w7m have some good patience, particularly Dodez, there's nothing really that's going to force him to have to move this position, save maybe a nade or maybe a Capital Firebolt coming in at the right opportune moment.
Angel's able to find Lobin. Not entirely sure from where, but I was about to say probably pushing the stock position. They'll look for the second, but that Thatcher pushing in by himself. Angel's probably could have been advised maybe to get somebody in a little closer, have that player on the double door. Maybe swing in a little bit, then you swing out for the trade. Sexy Cake will retake this position, whereas the ENX found a brief advantage. Now not only the man count has it been neutralized, but also in terms of the control. So far, ENX are only succeeding with what w7m are giving to them. Volp's quick peeking will fall. And so ENX back are in the lead. The defense is doing a good job at stalling out this attack, and the linchpin of all of it, Dodez, still on rafters. No more Kiva barricades to place, but still quite a few up. Dots and Palu can both hold down the site. There's always the worry that once ENX look to convert on the top floor, Palu could rotate down, use that C4, or even that Dodez, mechanically talented as he is, could hop over, find somebody the moment he hits the floor. Ridiculous, he honestly comes away with that engagement, but somehow gets away with it, taking down the Blackbeard, meant to push him out of that spot. Now w7m entirely consolidate, can hold out the site. Dodez plays his life in garage, and what are Box, Hexicate, and Florio gonna do? Well, push Dodez 1v1 it seems, and give him a nice little highlight clip to start off round 1 of Clubhouse on day 2. Dodez being a team player, hold on. Dots down, Polly will start sprinting away, but again, thankfully he has this C4, but does he have the information? He's got the time, he can go around the corner, but should be able to get this off, yes. Little closer than I think I or Palu would have liked it to be, but it's still a w7m round through and through.
Came very close, really, when you think about it, didn't it?
Comfortably so.
I thought they was going to go downstairs and try and C4 from below, and then I was sort of frantically looking around for, has he got any info as to where this plant is going down? Is it going down default? Is it going down radio door? Where is it going? Because if he misses that C4, it's almost game over at that point. Fortunately, he decided just to rotate through the top of red stairs, and he was able to pick up that final kill, as we saw. I think a good example there from ENX of sort of poor choices in the early portion of the round, mainly with the operator selection. I think they were really hoping to take control of Garage, and it just goes to show that even if you have a Capitao, even if you've got a couple of opening picks, going up against a talented bunch of players, you're going up against some people with insane mechanical skill, it isn't guaranteed that you're going to be able to remove that player. And sometimes they're even going to throw themselves over the top rope directly at your face. I think where ENX did do quite well is they did a good job of punishing the players from w7m that were inside of that lounge area, in and around stock. That was good. And I was sort of watching it thinking, we need that to happen a little bit, maybe a little bit quicker. The fact that it happened at all was fine, and they had a good man count advantage. But then just transition into something a little bit more simple, transition into a bit more of a construction take. And that's where having a little bit more hard breach might have been a tad easier to achieve.
And also, I think just like, not only just a little quicker, but I think a little tighter between the two. Felt like a lot of 1v1s taken by ENX. That, not necessarily there weren't people close by, but just the timing was a little rough. Hello. Wolf's unfortunately not getting any damage whatsoever off on that. He will stun himself. It's a little bit of a punishment for missing that kill, I suppose. He's very mad at himself for not achieving anything. It'll be another clear for ENX, as we got players all over the map on this basement defense. Loben, Ratting, and Strip. Volps inside of the bar right now, and obviously we got Dodez all the way up on the top floor. Got to be careful because there's a blitz and a buck coming his way. How the hell does he get Angels? The moment that wall opens, Dodez just slaps him down, falls back. Honestly, I can't even really get too mad at ENX there. That guy just got smoked.
And this is the game that w7m are going to play, isn't it? They're really going to force that full map clear. They haven't got the sort of Cade electrification to fall back onto. Hatches, if they want to, if they're going to extend heavily, they can play with them open. Got that castle to buy themselves a bit of time as well. Volps, little interest in getting himself back down. He's doubled up with Dodez right now. As Loben picks up another, this looks like a round that could end fairly quickly, especially with those two players stacked up on main stairs.
Yeah, I love this double play. Dodez shoots the drone, Volps rats behind the bar, and you still got Loben all the way in strip. It's always risky to see teams go for this heavy of a roam on basement, but you got to commend how w7m are playing it. They're ensuring that that ENX lack the intel to find out where these two players are ratting. And so far, it's working out quite great, purely in terms of the time wasted. They have spotted the Azami over in strip, but oh my god. Loben just peeks around. Texahik, unfortunately, angling the shield a little too far to the left, exposes the right side of his head, and drops Diffuser down. Inside a strip across the map. Will spot him, but again, that's still Diffuser in, well, not in the hands of w7m anymore. There's a Kiba barricade in their way if they want to pick it back up. And so what did w7m do? They immediately fall back. It's a 4v2. You might not have a C4 from Palu, but you've got 3 toxic canisters and just 30 seconds remaining. As long as you don't swing here, you are literally fine. It would have to require some some very, very, very well-timed utility usage from Florio, and I guess Bach, but mainly Florio. It would also require some angles and gunfights to be given. But Volps does manage to get that trade, even though Florio had an opportunity there. He wasn't necessarily advantaged, and Palu will put the final nail in the coffin for round 2.
We're not even really getting to see these w7m site setups and holds because we're not getting there. We're not getting down to baiting the utility out and attempting to get the plant down. We're not even getting down to sort of effectively knocking on the door of the site. A lot is happening elsewhere, and w7m are just increasing the radius at which they want to try and hold. In the previous round, for example, they had a presence up on top floor, but they were very keen in holding bar.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
ENX, slow to react, slow to respond. A little bit confused potentially in the push and where they wanted to sort of really work that. I don't think that their information game was very good at all. They knew that Loben was inside a strip and Sexy Cake's pushing that on his own. Okay, Blitz is fantastic in the 1 versus 1, but there's always that element of if you just look the wrong way, it's a case of a few degrees left or right, you expose yourself and it's game over, and there's no one there for the refrag.
that's so far been the story for me in these 2 rounds. It's just nobody really being there for the refrag, and even if they're in the position, not really able to take the opportunity and capitalize off that. I mean, well, in the case you just mentioned, there just quite literally was no one there for the refrag. But even more in round 1, there were people at least theoretically there, but not really in a good spot, and that's something that W7M, that's not a problem they struggle with. I mean, as Tim said, every 5 deaths they had, they trade 1, and honestly, even a 20% trade percentage is pretty good, all things considered. You're going to be dying a lot in Rainbow Six. You're dying a lot first-person shooters in general. So W7M are, unless they're having an off day, are not really going to be giving you that kind of opening. Whereas ENX have unfortunately been doing it a couple times now. Mitrix picking that shield back up. Sexy Cake instead moving to the Dokkaebi. We got the Aurora in play too on this gym bedroom attack. Not entirely sure where those doors are going to go, but Ollie and I love a good bit of Aurora, so we'll be very excited to see where they land.
We get to see quite a lot of Aurora inside of NAL.
Yes, we do.
On Thursdays and Fridays. Shout out.
Shout out. Thursday, Fridays, 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern. That's not true. That's 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. There we go.
Or in European, late.
4 p.m. after in Europe after sundown.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lineup that really gets me interested because you've got Sense and you've got Aurora. Both of those do a very similar thing.
Uh-oh.
Sexy Kick, I don't think he knows just how close he is to death right now. We've got Vulps just on the other side in cash with the shotgun. Little crossfire being held as well. Mute jammer so he can avoid the Dokkaebi call. Where's the opening right now for ENX? They've really stalled out. We're already past the midway point of the round. And they've brought a lot of kit and utility here. Is Blitz going to try and charge in and pinch these 2 players? I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. He shouldn't really get through the window. That should be getting held as a cross. I do worry about this approach from ENX right now because it just looks a little bit flat. They're really banging their heads against this one.
They've really been struggling with this Azami so far, and both in the CCTV round and this one. Loban finds Bach. His main bit of execute utility is we don't have a Ying on the board or anything like that. The Blitz obviously would be a good candidate, but we haven't even used a Dokkaebi call yet. I mean, ENX have found nothing. Not even the glimmer of an opportunity. You can see they're trying. They're thinking this through. I mean, Mitrix has gone from CC to con window, now down to main stairs to try to facilitate a rush. So, likely off the back of this call, Mitrix will get the opportunity to run up. That Blitz is going to make a lot of noise. And again, he's by himself at the moment, it seems. Could easily just turn his head a little too far one way, falls down, and I don't know who's getting that trade. C4 is being used to stave off this push to try to mess up the timing. ENX still waiting to go after that call is completely elapsed. Thank God Sexy Cake has a surplus, but Vulpes with his shotgun plays anti-flash. And Palu just holds, waits, and there goes Mitrix. Takes the bait, falls, and untraded, just like we said. ENX able to win some of these fights, maintain a little bit of an advantage. We'll give them credit for that, but it's still around where they found basically a shut door at every single entrance.
They're spending a lot of time doing not a lot, really. Pretty much everything that they took inside of that round was just given to them by W7M at one point or another. I think the fact that we didn't even see Cash Wall open is just a real big alarm bell. If that's mute jammed, if that's reinforced, it needs opening. You can't afford to just let a player sit inside of Cash. They might mirror coming in. I mean, W7M know exactly what game they're playing right now. It's try and starve them out, isn't it? It's make it as difficult as possible. Remove as much hard breach as possible. Remove the Monty and just force them into really chewing that clock down because ENX, they're undoing themselves at the moment.
And you know what the funny thing about it is, too, is like ENX have not played Thermite one time, right? So you might be thinking, why would you ban the hard breacher that ENX haven't played when they've used Ace twice and tin openers? But, well, tin openers less so, but, well, tin openers make a very small hole, but the Selmas can be impact tricked, and we just saw them fail to open Jacuzzi Wall for a good portion of the round because there was only one guy over there, and it just kept getting impact tricked. So even though ENX have not used Thermite whatsoever, W7M, one, know in theory they can counter the 1 or 2 hard breachers left open, but they know they can counter the one that ENX bring the most specifically. So like you said, it's just a plan to starve them of that utility, to waste even more time, and they know that the hard breacher ENX are running, they can counter quite easy. And also something I want to highlight is it's not just that ENX are really, really struggling. Like, W7M are playing genuinely well. We didn't really see much of it, but it was really cool how you have I think it was Volps holding or playing with the M5 as mute in cache. Here's the guy running around CCTV, and so what does Dodes do? Puts a Kiba barrier on the door, so if he wants to challenge deeper and swing into CC, he's got a bit of a shield on the door frame to do it. Like, there's still communication, and w7m just setting up possibilities or different opportunities to make these kinds of plays and to cause even more problems for ENX. And even though they don't get used or we don't see anything from it, you can still very clearly see that this is an active process for w7m, that they are really engaged in the game in front of them, and ENX are just left puzzled.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Even the band's coming in as well. Oh dear.
Well, I don't know what. I don't know what just happened there.
I'm sorry, maybe a bug or something?
I was gonna say probably like game bug. I think
he's asking for a remake.
I was gonna say, I think I was gonna say that's a game. I know that. And well, I don't know what. I think it's like Jogo. I don't know. I've learned.
Oh, right, okay.
So many Romance languages pronounce the J differently, so I honestly don't know if it's ha or je.
Well, it looks like we're not going to get the remake, at least not for the time being. So w7m will have to continue without Palu. It should make things a little bit easier this time.
It's his first.
But at least had an easier time opening this wall.
That's his first death, by the way.
Yeah, he's 5-1. I was quite excited for a time because ENX had hovered the Flores for a little bit, and I thought, you know what, that's a great way of getting rid of some of these Kiba barricades. And then we switched it out for a Grim, which is a less good way of dealing with these Kiba barricades in that you've only got a gun. Eventually, we are going to get the rehost. It is going to come through quite late there, but at least we get it through.
Shout out.
We can see w7m at full strength when we return.
Actually, that's not true. We get to remake, but they do have to team kill Palu again.
Just to make it exactly the same.
Yeah, it's like same op, same everything, but also Palu has to die.
That'd be really unfair though, because then he'd be. Oh no, because he would still be 5-1. Wouldn't? No, we can't count the one, can we? He's 5-1.
He would be 5-1. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
At least we have some more steps to talk about than last time. I don't think we'll have to really dissect the meaning behind the Marmite slogan. I'm sure that was very entertaining. We are back on CCTV though, as Ollie mentioned. Ollie also talking about the Flores. That was an op they did bring in round one, but kind of like, which by the way, I agree with you by the way. Like I do generally like that as a tool to deal with the Kibas, not just because they're Roteros, but also like DMR. Whereas with like the rest of the lineup, not only that they brought in that round, but also the one they brought in this round, not really like a prime DMR candidate, like what you bring in the SR25 on Blackbeard in round one. Like, no, you're just not going to do that. Then you also have Ace Capital Thatcher, not an option. I don't necessarily hate the pivot to like greater execute ops like Ying and Grim. I mean, Ollie, let's be honest, getting to an execute's been very difficult. Breaking these w7m kind of like site structures and like positions has been very difficult. So I think that's a very good solution to do it. But the Azami in particular tripped them up on this site, and that is something you have to consider, especially since it took them a whole 2 minutes and 10 seconds, even with the Flores, to start pressuring Dodes all that substantially. And now you have brought tools that I think fix the general problem, but now you theoretically could have made this particular problem, which was already bad, worse. Now, then again,
yeah.
you only pick 5 ops. I get it's hard, but still.
No, you do find yourself watching a game of Siege sometimes, and there's kind of like a wish or a want for a team to be able to pick another operator as well.
Yeah,
just
it's
sort of
scope
sometimes. Or swap through them, because when there's that much to deal with, it can be very difficult. And I think that ENX, they had their hands tied because they had to ban the mirror, because they knew that mirror was being used to make breaching a lot more difficult. And with Habana banned, that makes things very difficult indeed. The sort of the glaring answer, the way that I see it, and I don't know if it's entirely viable or not, or what the reason is for not choosing it, but the Maverick's there. So
True.
Play the Maverick. That means that you can get all the walls open, no dramas. Then you can bring something to deal with the Azami, or you can just ignore the mirror and instead choose to ban out the Azami and deal with the mirror window. Now, Obviously, it's not ideal, but it's maybe another way of looking at things, because I think having to ban the mirror, enabling the Azami to be played, is the big problem. If the Azami isn't there, I think things are a lot easier for this team at the moment, because we've already seen how well Azami's being used to create little pockets of space, whether that be on catwalk or whether it be on more unorthodox positions, like just throwing a little Kiba barricade down on radio door to give Volps a little bit more space to play on.
Also on basement too, I mean, Azami is the only operator that's been brought every single round by w7m, and Azami on basement's super simple. You just set up like Fort Knox over by AK, and then you're chilling for like the rest of the round. Like that's your spot. And so we didn't really even see ENX get the opportunity to tangle with it because of how extensive the roam was, and of course it's also not even where Loban, ironic given what I just said, it's also not where Loban was playing her. He was all the way in strip the entire round. Still also making Fort Knox. But as you said, the mirror definitely posed problems, but the Azami has as well, and I don't envy them. We do have three bans. We have more than we used to, but some things will get left on the table. Just means here, unfortunately, that it's gonna be a little hard to get all of the utility you want taken off. Also a little bit worrying, I will say, that in the gym bedroom round that we saw, we see Sexy Cake rotate over to CCTV by himself when there's a guy with a shotgun around the corner. Like, I don't know what the plan there is. And I'm not saying that, like, I know what the plan is, but, like, there's a crossfire there, there's a guy with a shotgun. You can clearly see that, like, ENX want to do things, but the ability to actually, like, manifest it, the ability to, like, translate that intention to reality has been such a difficulty over the past 3 rounds. And given the lineup that we saw in round 4, which I can't even remember the complete lineup that we saw, but Azami was obviously still in play. I feel like the same thing might happen here.
It was like a Malusi Maestro, Zaza, and then I don't know.
Who?
Zaza. Azami.
Oh, okay. I thought sorry.
Like Juicy.
Lucy? I've had a Juicy Lucy.
What's one of those?
You don't know what a Juicy Lucy is?
Like a drink?
No, Juicy Lucy's a burger.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, the game is 0-0, so I think we're gonna have to remake that one.
It's fine. We're just getting it all out the way, and we're getting it all out the way in map 1.
Unlucky. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in my room. It's like the windows facing the sun.
Your room?
Well, my friend's room that I'm working at. So not my room until at this rate, my room until 9 p.m. tomorrow. But I'm fanning myself. I'm like, no, I couldn't come up with an analogy. Anyway, I don't know. We go back to talking about
what did your friends say about you commentating after NAL? Like, were there any comments? Because obviously, like, you're quite loud. It goes on quite long.
Was there a feedback session?
Yeah.
Actually, no. They had plans, so I did not talk after casting. I'd go up between breaks. They were like, "Oh, that was funny." That's something I said. Which clearly, if they were talking about something being funny, it was something I said.
Well, they wouldn't have been able to hear me. They would have said it was really funny if I'd have said it.
Well, they had the stream open.
Oh, okay.
As well. I mean, like, obviously, they were primarily listening to me because I'm here, and also there was a delay on NA, so kind of awkward.
Yeah, when the final round's still going and you just walk downstairs and they just look at you like, if you're here, who's there?
That is always the fun part about living with somebody while you're casting and they're watching. It's like, okay, I guess you're done. Well, all right. I will say, somebody did text me. They're like, you're making a lot of puns tonight. And I was like, was I? I might have been, just to be clear. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I was told I was making a lot of puns that night. By the way, I also had a friend, I'm not joking, I have a friend who, like, works with, like, primates, and it was an orangutan watching the stream. How cool is that? I got watched by an orangutan.
Fresh watches nearly all the streams, though.
Zinger! Hello! That was rude.
Yeah, that is quite strange. I wonder how well like a monkey or a chimp could play Siege. Because they get typing and stuff like that,
I see a lot
don't
of people in champ these days.
they? Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure that they can type, and I'm sure they can play some basic games. Like, I'm sure we could get them in a terrorist hunt or something.
Well, that's not here anymore.
Oh, it isn't, of course. Well, we could get them on the range.
Get him in the map training. Get him in the.
Yeah.
How do you think a chimpanzee would do in dual front?
I mean, they're gonna get a kill on someone. So we were playing Siege the other day, and I'd played so little ranked last season that I needed to play some casual games. I think I played 4 ranked games last season. I know it's a little bit embarrassing, but here it is. And I think obviously you need to play 5, and then you keep ranked unlocked for next season. So because I played 4, we had to play and win 5 casual games. So we all got on, and we ended up ripping through the casuals in like 45 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
But some of the things that I witnessed, some of the things I witnessed during those 45 minutes, I'm convinced that your friend could teach an orangutan or a chimp to play Siege.
The thing I've learned is that like chimpanzees and orangutans are both very smart, but orangutans are like crafty. Like orangutans are like
playing
sneaky.
Caveira?
They're like. See, that's the thing about orangutans. They will hide ops in prep phase.
They'll be hiding clutch under the table.
Yeah, they're hiding pulse underneath the window on Night Haven.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
But then like chimpanzees, like they will like let's say they need to like accomplish a task, right? Like let's say they want to, like, I don't know, they want to steal something. They steal the object, right? They both can do it. They're both smart enough to do it, but the difference is the orangutan will like hide it and then use it for like its own purposes later. Whereas the chimpanzee's like, hey, look at me. I stole this, you moron. I'm gonna throw it and knock it around everywhere. It's like they have like, they're very smart, but they have this chaotic side. Whereas the orangutans, they're like lawful evil. It's just like they're not evil, just to be clear, but they're crafty. They're sneaky.
5 seconds remaining.
But very smart. Very smart, I've heard.
Thank you all watching so much for bearing with us during the tech pauses that we've experienced today. We have, we've made you chuckle about the whole, chimpanzee and whatever else rubbish we've been talking about. But at least we can talk back now about the game. We haven't missed any action, and this time we do have Palu running around, so all is well. It is a slightly different lineup, so I'm guessing that's okay, because I really don't want it to get remade again. And we do actually have the Floras this time. So the Floras was threatened, then it was picked off onto a Grim. However, this time Bok is rocking the Floras. But
come on,
maybe just maybe we're having to remake because the lineup was different. Because Palu was playing Malusi when we crashed originally, or when we remade the game originally, and that time he was playing the Smoke. So there was changes on both sides, which I kind of read into as being, okay, this is fine. Maybe not.
You ever wonder why we're here?
What, a third remake stage 40 minutes after starting the game?
40 minutes for w7m.
3 rounds.
For 3 rounds. It was inevitable we were going to have one of these days. We honestly have had, I would say, between NA and SAL, we've had a lot of, not a lot of lengthy tech pauses. This is kind of like our, this is our first true, hell day.
How do you feel about it?
Not good.
I don't think we can go back to talking about chimps either.
No,
I feel like we've done that bit.
That's the thing. Is okay, if you want a little peek behind the curtain, there's no plan when we're here. I mean, I'm sure maybe I'm sure Tim and Dez probably have like a list of rehost topics they'll do because they're like very good at that sort of thing, and also just like generally professional people. There's no like logic to where Ollie and I go here, especially. I have ADHD. We're going wherever I decide, really. This is a unilateral decision. But we can't go back. We can't go back to... we've done primates. We've done breakfast, like spreads. Well, not spread as in food. Spread as in like something you put on like toast. I don't know. Do you put Marmite on toast?
Of course, yeah.
Just clarifying. And I can't even tell you what else we've talked about. And I'm sure as hell not touching the El Clasico topic.
No, we need to save that for later.
Yeah, that's content. We got to save that for later. Can't burn that one early. I don't know. So, I don't know.
I think I've just had it confirmed that the fact they're playing different operators is okay.
Is it,
so that wasn't the reason for the rehost.
So what was it?
I think it was a drone issue.
The drone bug.
Like, I don't know. I was going to say something, and I don't think I'm going to say it anymore. We'll talk about something else.
I love that. I love that from you. I don't know.
Well, it just... I didn't want to curse anything moving forward, you know?
What, you don't have rehost number 4 in you?
No, it's just like... We did NAL the other night, and it was fairly chill.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you and I, up until this point, have had a lot of very chill days. Like, I'm talking about stage 1 and stage 2, like you said. It's only been one day. So it's a very chill days. This was bound to happen eventually, playing the odds. But am I excited that it's happening? No. But it happens. These things occur. I've certainly run the well dry.
It looks like we're going back into the game.
No, don't say it. Don't give me
over under on it being okay.
Don't say it. We're gonna join a w7m on attack, and I'm just gonna lose my mind.
Just play it. Just play it at that point.
Just play it. It's just guys. It's year 1 rule set. No, it's rank setting. Sorry, because year 1 you switched every round.
Well, I mean, ENX haven't won a round on the attack yet, so surely defense could be good for them, right?
Okay, we banned the same ops. We're on the right sides. We have the right score.
We have the right site. I mean,
okay.
I'm not even going to pay attention to the operators because I don't think that matters.
This is looking correct.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
okay.
as many bombs as they can.
I don't even
want to talk about it. I can tell. It feels like you're paralyzed in position.
I'm just like, I've been burned so many times at this point. Like,
I love how this has developed as well, because I'm almost certain that we didn't have a Jaeger.
We did not. We did not have a Jaeger. We did not have a Jaeger. I wonder what motivates these kinds of changes. Like, you know what we were really missing? Jaeger. Now, to be fair, that's not really a joke anymore because like he can catch Capita bolts now, so like it does make sense.
No, but that's what I mean. I think it's a really good pick because they've literally had like 10 minutes to sit there and go, I might play Jaeger this round, you know? Maybe we just do something a little bit different and I'll play Jaeger. How's about that? I mean, Donuts is going to be laughing now. He was safe before when there was only a Capital. Now he's going to be, he's golden.
He got pressured at 50 seconds remaining. Now he's got ADSs. We might need a rehost just to like nerf that. That's like ridiculous. That might be
we do have Thatcher.
Game breaking. That's true. We do have Thatcher. Sometimes, obviously, you know, the EMPs, you immediately think of hard breach denial, but of course, disables all electronics, so disabling those ADSs would be quite a good usage of the 3 EMPs, but also, as you can see, they've just opened up flat wall without needing any EMPs. So it actually seems a little likely that we could see that primary utility dedicated to the garage section. I'd like it. I'd be down with it.
Also, pretty sure they didn't have a Thatcher. Pretty sure that we didn't have a Thatcher back in the original round, but we will let it play out regardless. Now, there is going to be a good bit of information here for Dodes to play with. One of those evil eyes is placed in such a way that he can see underneath into garage doors 1 and 2. That's going to give him a lot to play off. This position right now, especially with both of those walls into sight being fully reinforced, means he is very tucked there and is likely going to play there for the entirety of the round. It also forces hard breach to be used if they want to transition in through garage. So there becomes a question mark in taking Garage and how much value that actually gains you. Couple that with the fact that Palu's playing below with a C4, and everything to me screams, just go construction.
Oh! Well, it's going to be a little harder now that the Platwall player is taken down. This is what I mean about w7m being very active participants in these rounds, though. Poly was on the site the entire round previously. Now this time, they put ADSs on Raptors. They're bolstering with the C4. Dots will go down. They're just trying to brute force this through the wall. But Dodez, he won a couple fights in Garage before in much weirder positions. This being a sentry gun aimed at Platwall is exactly the kind of thing you want him to do on this team. Mitrix has creeped all the way up to top red. Well, he's deeper in the hallway and has a shotgun holding that rotate. But Poly never used that C4. He did not burn it. Could easily rotate back through lounge. There's nobody looking at him at the moment. And with that plenty of intel inside of the site, the Evil Eye can open up. Ooh, just barely gets away with it. That's something Florio's going to have to be concerned about. All of w7m have completely vacated the premises. Mitrix will push in, pistol in hand, downed, unfortunately. Low HP, not paying off well, suffering that damage early on. All of that waiting, and it's 4 in a row for w7m.
Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious sort of result there, I think, based on what we saw in terms of the lineups. I think at a certain point, there are a certain amount of operators that are so good at playing in a specific position that once you tip that over the edge, as soon as you add the Jaeger into that mixture for that Garage, you can't push Garage anymore. You've just got to do something else because you don't have the Monty. You can't take it. You're relying on something really lucky to happen to enable that. And I think that getting Platwall open, yep, great. Cut the site in half, or cut a great big line of sight through the center. Stop people being able to rotate from Garage into CCTV, and then transition it into more of a bedroom side push. Get control of bedroom, open Logi hatch, drop, open construction wall, and maybe send somebody up catch stairs at some point.
Especially with Ying and Grim, like
you've got the execute to do it.
Super flexible utility.
Yeah, and W7, typically if a Ying isn't banned, teams will always play a Warden, just because it's better to have it and not need it than to not have it at all. And there are other things that you can use it against. Obviously, it can be used against Blitz Shield, it can be used against just general flashes. But if there's a Ying, a Warden is usually a pretty good bet, even if the Ying is just available. W7m aren't even scared of that aspect of things. It's not even like, oh, Ying's up, we should probably play a Warden just in case. They don't even care about that.
I don't blame them for not caring about it. It's been a cakewalk of the game so far. Came down to a 1v1 in round 1, but yet that was still ENX fighting from behind the entire time. It's been a 4-0 formally and substantively. Again, shield player going in, just immediately gets shot in the head. Dodez somehow gets the guy playing behind him for the trade. Mitrix domes him through a barricade, and that's an impressive shot, I suppose, but a Frost is just, who's already placed all of her utility, has just taken down Blackbeard and Deimos at the beginning of the round. We're in bad shape, fellas.
I was wondering when we were going to see the Deimos, because that was something that was played quite a couple of times previously when we saw ENX play this map. The game that we were sort of jokingly referencing from 60-odd days ago. It's one of the only times that we can look back and see how ENX play this map. And they did play a little bit of Deimos.
But, he also only played 8 rounds.
Yeah, it also didn't last very long. So I don't think it's a case of them hiding this map. I think it's more a case of them just not liking playing it, which, again, is a little bit unusual, but each to their own. Lobin, he will be able to drop through Moto and kind of hung around just a little bit to see if he could find Mitrix on that vert, but thought better of it. Again, with the way that the clock is going in this, it heavily favors w7m just through the nature of the playstyle. Early pick into a very slow mid-round and a bit of a stall from ENX, and the round kind of does itself for the defense right now. They just need to tuck in. Still got a C4 in Palu's hand to use. Kitchen hatch will be open, but it's not going to be too much of a worry.
No.
Lobin does still have Kiva barricades, so we can choose to either block off a line of sight to kitchen, fortify something else. You've got a couple of castle barricades knocking around, deployable shield right here for Volps. And when you look at the attack and what they've got to deal with it, well, there's not a lot. The Zephyrs have been used to make vert. They're not going to be able to be used for the castle barricades or the Kivas. Instead, you're going to be looking at DMRs or, I mean, I guess just leaving them. Maybe a lucky nade if you can bounce it off.
Maybe.
But with 20 seconds, again, I just don't fancy ENX's chances. They've not got have bodies here.
I mean, we're hard breaching with 15 seconds left, and I think it's a good angle to open up, but again, just demonstrates how dire of a situation this is. You have somebody from the defense threatening a retake, though. Right as Loban goes for the prone, he falls. It's only 5 seconds. It'd have to be a pretty massive throw, but there's at least some chance, in theory, ENX could have fought back, but the only kill that gets the one Loban seeds. It's a full hat trick at the end for W7M. 5 rounds in a row, and the only reason this game is lasting longer than the Los one is because we've had 3 rehosts.
There's not much to indicate that it isn't going to be a flawless half right now for W7M. There hasn't really even been a glimmer of hope. I mean, yes, we have had a 1 versus 1, but the player just got off the plant, and Palu knew exactly where it was, and the C4 was there. So, on paper, it's a 1v1, but realistically, it again wasn't a very close round, which I know sounds a little bit contradictory, but sometimes there's a little bit more context that's needed in 1v1s inside a siege. I think adding that context into it, you can still pretty safely say that it hasn't been the closest of games. A little bit of a similar lineup coming out from W7M this time. They are going to be bringing the Warden this time, just in case of that Ying, and of course for any smokes that they may want to look through. But again, they're in the territory of being able to pick comfort ops.
5 seconds remaining.
They've got the Strider, the Sentry, they've got the Fenrir.
Attacker's objective is to
You know, they're not even sort of playing a lot of information right now. They've got 1 bulletproof camera. They've gone through rounds of playing, you know, like Malusis and Maestros. And now they're sort of, you know, FNATs, yes, are a little bit of information. They're not even opting for more cameras here. It's not like they need them. ENX are just making themselves quite predictable at the moment.
And this site was, I don't know if you could say arguably their weakest, but I mean, it was just ENX looking puzzled for a whole 2 minutes. We didn't have an engagement until 1 minute and 2 seconds left in the round, and that was one W7M won. It was an opening kill they acquired. The first round, honestly, from ENX looked the best, and there were still problems, but it looked all right. It looked workable. Like, there were a lot of things you could improve upon, and it's just been a slow, well, a precipitous decline, actually, since then. We'll see what they managed to do here. They have faced a lot of trouble previously with those Selma charges getting impact trick, but it seems here, be able to soften up the wall and open it with the Bailiff. Not the greatest tool for the job, but hey, got to work with what you got. That seems like maybe thinking about a shield rush into on the Gem and Jacuzzi side.
Yeah, last time they kind of got trapped a little bit inside a CCTV. It's almost beneficial to ENX at the moment that that's all reinforced, because they would have to rotate Florio around, and he's only actually got 1 Selma left, having to use 2 to remove the reinforcement on that Jacuzzi side. As such, Sexy Kate might just try and go for a walk up these cash stairs here. He's quiet about it. He might have a chance, but again, it's a 1v1 with no potential of a trade.
Sexy Kate tried to do this before, but as you said, solo push, C4 goes out. Thankfully, he dodges it because of the railing. But that's just a sign from W7M. We know you're there. We know what you're thinking. We know what your instincts are. So just back off and let's see if we can deal with the bulk of the push. Volp starts at Alpha on a Bach. No more deathmark trackers for ENX to take advantage of. Nades will go through, still waiting for this moment. But now the pipe bursts, so even more time burned. More time wasted as ENX struggle to push in. Dots will swing and give an opening to this arrested attack, and that'll allow Mitrix to move into bathroom. It's still advantage W7M as the line is holding with holes forming, but not completely demolished. 20 seconds remain. They barely made any progress, but they have at least weathered some of this storm. But oh, the timing! Florio gets on rappel as he knows somebody's there, but Mitrix gets both the kills. Somebody's just got to get this diffuser down. It's outside the window. Can Mitrix get it up, get in the window, and put it down in time? He makes it! And at the finishing line, ENX just get a toe across and put 1 round on the board in the first half.
A really fine margin there, wasn't it? You just saw the diffuser going down as Volp swung. I was kind of thinking, does Volps just sort of try and stay alive? If the diffuser's a little bit too far away, it might have been a bit too difficult, but Mitrix just about had the time to do it. And let's be honest, it's kind of surprising that that pulled off for ENX, because you look at some of the positioning. I mean, Sexy Cake on the Flores, by the way, trying to crouch walk up cash stairs. Like, it isn't going to be great. And guess what? If you don't succeed, you've got a lot of utility as that Flores. And we didn't really see it used in all of its glory. But it does just go to show. At the end of the day, Siege is a shooter, and Mitrix can pull through and pick up 3 kills in the round, then who's to say that ENX can't grab one in the end? Are finally going to taste a little bit of success here on Clubhouse, but it's still a very long road ahead. As the side swap, w7m move onto the attack. A Cade and an Azami ban, followed by a Monty and a Capital ban.
Attackers need to look.
And the w7m are going to be far more comfortable than ENX were on this side.
You think this is where they start putting in the work? Think they
I
lock
think
in?
they've got to, haven't they? It's, you know, it's a map that they've played a decent amount. It's 7th preference for them, but we know them to be a good team on this map. And they're going to have a lot more teamwork, a lot more coordination, and I think a lot more ability to deal with what ENX are putting up. ENX going for quite a different lineup, and I think maybe recognizing that Denial is going to be the order of the day. They know that they can't roam as heavily against w7m, because that just isn't going to work. So, whereas we didn't see a Goyo throughout the entirety of w7m's defense, immediately we're playing things like a Goyo. We're playing things like an Aruni. We're not looking to, you know, really roam and stretch our legs. Instead, it's castle barricades, it's fortification, it's time denial. And w7m are going to know how to deal with that. They have an ability to move quickly and an ability to burn through that. It's really all about ENX now, and is that going to be enough, or do they need to be a little bit more ambitious with what they try and do?
I believe you'd call that a belt and braces approach?
You could characterize that as a belt and braces approach.
See? Picking up some of the British. Picking up some stuff.
Is that like a... I didn't think that was like a particularly British thing. I thought that was like fairly universal.
I don't know, actually. It's a good question. Anyway. Early focus on the jacuzzi wall. Very minimal hard breach to not only the mute. Loban bringing that Cali will have a nice little long angle into at least part of bathroom just to control that swing. Also see if anybody moves on the rotate, the kind of thing that, well, after firing a shot through that wall, you'll be aware of. Lances can also be used to destroy those castle barricades. w7m just probing for the opening at the moment. Not committing. They're getting jacuzzi, getting the exterior breaches, then they'll make a decision as to where they want to go. ENX often found themselves pigeonholed quite early on. But with this Maverick line in the bottom of Conwall, Dotus has a nice drone looking in. And you can see some greater interest being paid by w7m to this jacuzzi side.
I like the difference as well in terms of lineup. Obviously, it's different tools that are available, but w7m very heavy on that hard breach, and immediately we see in the Maverick that kind of asked for a little bit earlier on. Dodes opens things up with a kill onto the castle. That utility has already been fitted and forgotten about, so not too much of a loss, but it's still a body and it's still a kill that goes untraded. Another characteristic of ENX. They weren't trading very many kills on the attack at all, and that trend, well, so far it's continuing on to the defense. Florio will be there to respond, with Kali looking through the window. Lobin maybe trying to find a player just peeking out a little bit further than they should. The w7m do need another pick really here before they try and commit to anything.
There has been such a heavy focus on the utility play that they have really struggled to find a genuine opening, at least amongst this man count. What a shot by Florio. Threads the needle through the wall, out the window, and w7m is seemingly out the round. ENX never lose this advantage, but Bach getting a little aggressive, yet Sexy Cake holds on. Just Paulo in the 1vx familiar position, but shotgun so close. Florio, Sexy Cake would have to do a little bit of a troll here. I just don't think they're going to do that. They might be a bit inexperienced, they might be struggling, but they're not going to throw away free wins like that. And so ENX string together too.
ENX doing a really good job there, and it was enough. I questioned it at the start. Is it going to be enough just to bunker down in on site and not stretch your legs? Which, let's be honest, for a gym bedroom, a little bit unusual. Usually you would have a presence inside of Cash. You would have somebody over in towards CCTV. w7m knew that. They had a great flank drone inside of Cash. The call came. Volps was able to shoot the person that was on the flank without the barricade even being open. However, it wasn't enough because whereas the defense was maybe a little bit one-dimensional, I would kind of characterize that attack as quite one-dimensional. w7m were just looking for picks off the balcony, and ENX were well-disciplined enough not to give them too many. I think they maybe gave away one as like a direct pick off the balcony, and the rest came down as gunfights when players started to hop in. So, I think credit to them.
You got to. We are hoping to see a little bit more of a decent showing from ENX and do a lot of the basics in that round. Bring some decent utility. Don't well, they overpeak a little bit, but they always have the advantage at least. And there's always going to be some breakage in rounds like this. Little mistakes you make, little moments you think back. I wish I hadn't done that. On basement, clearly trying to channel a bit of w7m. We have a very heavy roam. I was going to say we're going to see a little bit of a classic. I've seen Foltz do this. You do the roam on the mid floor, but then you've got the mute sitting on the mute jammer behind the metal construction panel. I think we got, what, 3 or 4 players up top right now? At least 3.
It's definitely quite an extension, isn't it? But when you bring in the castle, I think you're given the space to do that. Sexy caught out on the drone there, and he doesn't know. This should be fairly easy pickings for w7m. They have also got to try and commit to figuring him out, and they're going to have to use utility to do so.
Oh.
Lion Call, Blackbeard primed and ready. Palu looking through. Yeah, there's lots of options here, but even if Sexy Kate doesn't get away with the kill, you look at the utility that he's wasted. He's taken a Lion Scan. He's taken one of the exothermic charges. There's now nades coming in. He will have more than likely shot at least one drone, and he's wasted just under half of the round. Dropped off. I don't think they've seen him drop off either, so they're still actively looking for him. If Sexy Kate gets even one kill, even a little bit of damage right now, he's also got Angels just on those main stairs, ready to try and peek up and assist. This is much better from ENX.
He's finding the path through this right now, and again, it seems like he's cut off, but even just playing his life in this position, just wasting time could very well be a win. He's finding a way to navigate all of these angles, and the timings are just working so well. Lobin was watching that window the whole time, and then he backs off. Sexy Cake's not just playing well, Sexy Cake's getting a little lucky, and I'm not going to blame him for it. That's totally fine, because this situation is going exactly as ENX hoped, and I imagine a little bit better than they thought it would. Dots and Dodes finally start wrapping around the corner. That is almost a ridiculous flick. Palu at least lands that trade as the Bucks finished off. But 2 minutes and 15 seconds spent clearing this roam. And in a matter of seconds, 3 players drop. Sexy Cake has been playing his life this whole time. Now suddenly had a good decision turned bad by the circumstances surrounding him. Again, he just finds the way through. The entirety of w7m's attack surrounding him, and now, as he gets back to the site, as he makes it back, that's when he falls. It was looking so good for ENX, and then w7m just find 5 good fights and don't lose a single one.
Palu with 4 kills as well there. Really ramping up the heat. That's why w7m is one of the better teams in the world, though, because they can operate at such a short time window. I think Sexy Cake had done his job in that round, and I think you've maybe got to look to the rest of the team. I don't know if there was maybe a bit of an overreaction from Bok to join him upstairs. I think if everyone had retreated back apart from Sexy Cake and they'd got themselves dug in to Church and Arsenal, it would have been a very different story. Because then the decision is either find Sexy Cake and kill him, or leave him up there, continue to operate, and then worry that he's going to backstab you the whole time that you're not then progressing on into sight. And ENX kind of did the worst possible thing in that they doubled down on him. And then w7m were just able to take favorable fights.
10 seconds left.
It's a bit of a shame as well because I think that the general play there from Sexcake and ENX as a whole was good. There was just a slight overreaction at the end because Sexcake had done his job and more. He'd wasted so much time, so much util. But unfortunately, his team tried to rally to his cause, and that was kind of their undoing inside of that last round. It puts w7m onto a map point right now. Gives them a chance of a full, clean 3 points. And to put to bed the woes of yesterday against Liquid.
It's always day one against a good team as well. These things are going to happen sometimes. This is the game where if we really saw w7m struggle, we'd start to worry a little bit. And they have certainly struggled in these couple rounds. I think we can definitely say these attacks have had weak points even in the one they won. But right here, Mitrix just starts sprinting at the Blackbeard, and that doesn't work out well. He has a nade thrown at his feet, to be fair. Had to do something, but Florio also holding this position. No mirror window on the defense, but this is a CCTV cached defense. She's just going to try to fall back through that hole made inside of the Logi wall, but you can tell that Dots is hungry for it. Wishes he had another nade. Might even call Loban over to use that one. Trapped in the corner as he is, get somebody on the con window, but he's clearly waiting for something. And Florio can keep burning this utility to stave off the push, wasting time. Could be difficult with no C4. This would remove some important plant denial if the round gets to that point, but at least for now, it is wasting some time.
w7m at least have an advantage, as you mentioned. Smoke canister still being used on that stock hatch as well. Flo going to use that space that it's bought him. I'll be able to find an alternate angle here, but the BB will bear down on him, and that is not an engagement that he wants to take. They've not really got the numbers to try and commit to this. He just needs to get out of there, but there's just nowhere to go.
Changing bags.
Just doing his thing. w7m set up the three-way crossfire, one on the hatch, one on the window, and Blackbeard pressuring. They do have this Tachanka, a bit of an unorthodox pick on Clubhouse and, well, this side as well. But it will give them even more opportunities to waste time. You can definitely see that that's giving w7m a little bit of pause. It is just something they'll have to worry about, but ENX just keep swinging, keep finding their way in front of these angles. And Angels is at garage door. All the way outside the site. Loban's just kill hungry at that point, not even worried about it. It's a 7-2 for w7m. And only one round better for ENX than the last time they played Clubhouse.